Isaiah. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 19. Osina wanu bedi akwa. Nansu wari utumi. Frisa mi ewurade. Meka wo ho. Na mechew. Strong and courageous. Sheben kumane nifa udia kuko weni muwa enti mempa bae mina mibo chiri domwe sani amidi mosa chino sana medi wachida. I have called you by your name, oh. Be strong and courageous. Sheben kumane nifa udia anymore, intimate Papa. Mina, the power children don't want. Sani amini mo sachino sana, maybe what you done. I will never leave you, and will not forsake you. Avaba my name, that I will be your help. Do not be dismayed. I am the Lord, I am thy God. I will never leave you, and will not forsake you. Avaba my name, that I will be your help. Do not be dismayed. I am the Lord, I am thy God. Sana amidi mosachino, sana medi wachida.
Exactly 45 minutes after 6. This is a business breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. And so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And that is the word of the Lord to somebody this morning. Exactly Isaiah 41 verse 10. Very powerful scripture there. But that was Dana Samoa with my Boldin remix. Very powerful tune right there, giving us some courage as we navigate the rest of the year. I mean, the year just started, but of course, maybe things have not happened for you just as you want. And I just want you to know that God is with you, and do not be dismayed. He will help you, will strengthen you, he will uphold you with his righteous right hand. This is the word of the Lord. And of course, God is not man that he should lie. So we want to hold on to this word this morning. Well, anyway, thank you very much for choosing us. This is a business breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nietzsche Hammond. And let me run you through what we have for you this morning. Of course, as usual, we're going to start with our news review segment. And then right after that, at exactly 7 o'clock, we bring you the business news with Principal Rosemont Labi. And then after that, I come your way again at 7:30 with the business brief segment. And that will be followed by Transport Today, looking at the local flight schedules as well as the traffic situation in town. down with Solomon Tetenate. And then we get into our market trend segment. And of course, we wrap everything up with a big conversation on Constitution Day. Today's Constitution Day. What does that really mean to you? You can tell us. Get interactive with us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, we're streaming live, and also on YouTube. On Facebook, we're at ZFMGH, and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please engage us on those platforms, and we will read your messages for you, your comments for you. And you can send us a WhatsApp also on 0544321019, 0544321019, and I'll read your messages for you as well. Well, thank you very much. Stick and stay with us right here on the Business Breakfast on Zed as we get into our news review segment. I believe strongly that it's going to be a fantastic morning as always. Please don't go anywhere. We'll get into all of that right away. Up next is a news review segment. Stay tuned. Let's look at some of the stories that are making waves this morning and try to touch on a few of them. Well, starting with myjoyonline.com. Top story says that Mahama marks 1 year in office with National Thanksgiving at Jubilee House. And also, government can pay Austin Gami backs governments can pay Austin Gami backs nurses and midwives salary claims, and also GJA calls for immediate dismissal of Ghana National Fire Service PRO, and also open primaries could break grip of money politics, and that is coming from Osai Kwapon. We're going to look at some of those stories very soon. And this one also says that expert cautions campaigns and training alone won't attract youth to agriculture, and money still decides primaries, and that reality isn't changing soon. CDD fellow Osai Kwapon says that as well. And also, protests won't fix pay crisis. Austin Gami urges patience for unpaid nurses and midwives. That is that. And this one also says that you are visible, you are invisible, you don't exist. Life without a birth certificate. And those are some of the stories on myjoyonline.com. Let's look at citynewsroom.com. Top story says that Mahama to hold Thanksgiving service today to mark 1 year in office, and also Bawumia possesses leadership traits similar to Mahama, and that is coming from Cabo. Also, new VAT regime returns 6.5 billion Ghana cedis to households, and as prices ease, and that is coming from the Ghana Revenue Authority. Also, Cabo says the time will vindicate Akufo-Addo's presidency, and also Cape Coast to experience planned power outage on January 8th. Also, this one says that COPEC to meet driver unions over possible fare cuts, and 10 partners agree terms to acquire FP SO by 2027, and CD depreciation began under NPP and not NDC, coming from Opong Nkrumah. And also, Asante Hene cautions police against interference in chieftaincy disputes, and first-class travel ban for government appointees still in force, and that is coming from the President John Dramani Mahama. On Channel 1 News Online, this one says that we are training students for the 1980s and not 2030. Dr. Yamson warns that. And also, religion talk aimed at muddying Baumia's campaign, and that's coming from Cabo also. And NPP primary school for Akufo-Addo, Akufo-Addo not sidelined. That is coming from the election committee. And this one also says that you can't rewrite history with lies and propaganda. Anas tells Kwesi Nyantichi. And also this one says that you risk humiliating defeat if you contest our Ayawaso East by election. Tanko computer to NPP. And also I will deliver irreversible progress, and that is coming from the president also. He also says that first class travel ban is still effective, and also journalist assaults. Remove PRO is incompetent, GJA tells Ghana National Fire Service. And those are some of the stories also making waves there. Let's look at graphiconline.com. This one says that Tema Meridian Hotel redevelopment, youth protest private developers takeover and destroys new fence wall. And also Bank of Ghana to review domestic gold purchase program, and Ghana Immigration Service names personnel arrested over 2,600 AK-47 ammunition smuggling. And also President Mahama unveils plan for value for money offers to boost accountability. Ghana still training graduates for 1980s and not 2030. Ishmael Yamsing at New Year's School. Those are some of the stories this morning, making waves also on graphiconline.com. Let's look at the international front. On BBC, this one says that US discussing options to acquire Greenland, including use of military, says White House. And also Trump's Venezuela raid has created chaos, and that is a risk for China. And also Trump says Venezuela will be turning over up to 50 million barrels of oil to US. And also Brown University gunman recorded videos saying attack was planned for months. And also Russia sends Navy ships to guard oil tanker being pursued by US forces. And those are some of the stories also on BBC, on bbc.com. Let's look at CNN.com as well. This one says Trump says Venezuela will turn over 30 million to 50 million barrels of oil to US. And also plans for $2.3 billion US stadium ignites debate in 2032 Olympics host city. And also Maduro and his wife hit their heads as they tried to flee US forces. And also days after US attack, wary but resilient Venezuelans try to return to normal amid fears of repression. And Iran watches nervously as a fellow anti-US regime falters under Trump. So those are some of the stories also there. Let's look at Bloomberg. On Bloomberg, this one says Trump says Venezuela to send oil worth up to $2.8 billion to US, and Venezuela's rule by fear endures after Maduro's capture. And also oil declines as Trump says Venezuela will give some crude oil to US. And also this one says botched debutant trade triggers alt in Sri Lankan stocks. And also South Africa relaxes laws to salvage firms hit by power costs. And South Africa's Lee sees Japan. South Africa's Lee sees Japan ties as vital as China relations. So those are some of the stories making waves. Let's go back and see if we can touch on a few of them. Now, of course, President John Dramani Mahama was sworn in exactly a year today, and he served the country for the past 1 year. I don't know what your assessments are. I mean, no politics, of course, but I don't know what your assessments are of him in terms of the business community. Feel free to send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019, or send us drop a comment on our Facebook. We're streaming live at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. You can drop a comment on our live stream and we'll read them for you. So let me read a portion of that story. It says that President John Dramani Mahama will today, January 7, commemorate 1 year in office with a non-denominational Thanksgiving service at the forecourt of the Jubilee House in Accra. The service scheduled for 8 a.m. will draw religious leaders, senior government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, and invited guests to reflect on the Mahama administration's first year in power. Now, held under the theme Resetting, Rebuilding and Renewing, the ceremony is aimed at expressing gratitude for the country's stability over the past year while reaffirming the government's pledge to national renewal and inclusive governance. Now, the Thanksgiving forms part of activities marking President Mahama's first anniversary in office and signals a moment of reflection, unity and recommitment as the administration enters its second year. So that is a story there. There's a Thanksgiving ceremony happening at the forecourt of the Jubilee House this morning at exactly 8 a.m. In line with President Mahamir's 1 year in office. I remember when he was being sworn in when he was being sworn in at the Independence Square last year, a lot of us were looking forward to what exactly the year would hold for his governance. His second term as president. And I don't know what your expectations were, but I don't know also whether your expectations have been met or not. But congratulations to the president. Happy anniversary to him and his entourage who actually continue to serve this nation. So let's move on to some other stories. This one says that governments can pay Austin Gami back nurses and midwives' salary claims. And labor consultant, let me read a portion of that. Labor consultant Austin Gami says government has a capacity to pay salary arrears owed to unpaid nurses and midwives, urging restraint as pressure mounts over months of unpaid work in public health facilities. Now, his comments come amid growing agitation among a coalition of nurses and midwives in the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, who say they worked for nearly a year but received pay for only 1 month. Now, the group describes the situation as cruel, demoralizing and harmful to patient care, accusing the health ministry of broken promises and selective payments. And now, speaking on Joy News PM Express on Tuesday, Mr. Gami said the issue should not be reduced to a lack of funds alone, stressing that government now carries a clear obligation to resolve the matter. Now, drawing on experience in government, the labor consultant said the problem of unpaid public sector workers was not new, but Ghana had reached a point where such situations should no longer be repeated. So that is a story there. I've always maintained that there's no justification for people working for over 12 months and they are paid for only 1 month. There is no justification at all, no whatsoever. But of course, is protest the way to also go? Maybe that's the only voice that the government listens to, and so that is the way to go. But I also see a story, Austin Gami urging patience for unpaid nurses and midwives, and he says a protest won't fix pay crisis. Let me read a portion of that as well. So, labor consultant Austin Gami has cautioned unpaid nurses and midwives against resorting to demonstrations or legal action, insisting that such approaches will not resolve their salary crisis. Now, he was speaking on Joy News PM Express on Tuesday. He said restraint, engagement, and follow through offered a better path to securing the long delayed payments than protests or court battles. And his comments come amid rising agitation by a coalition of unpaid nurses and midwives under the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, who say they have been paid for only 1 month after working for nearly a year in public health facilities. So that is a story there. Whether that is the way to go, whether protests are the way to go or engagement, we look forward to that. But of course, I know that they've been doing some engagements behind the scenes, and if they are not seeing the results, then they may resort to other means of registering their displeasure. So that is also the story there. And maybe a final one just before we go. This one says that a new VAT regime returns 6.5 billion Ghana cedis to households as prices ease, and that is coming from the Ghana Revenue Authority. So the GRA says that the new VAT regime is easing cost pressures on consumers, with about 6.5 billion Ghana cedis returned to households as price fall by 1.9%. According to the authority, prices of goods and services are falling by about 1.9% since the reforms took effect, following a reduction in the effective VAT rate to 20%. Now, speaking during a VAT compliance monitoring exercise at shopping malls in the Spintex Enclave, Commissioner General of the GRA, Anthony Sapon, called on businesses to voluntarily comply with the revised VAT framework and urged customers to demand VAT invoices to support enforcement. So that is, and he also added that sustained compliance is critical to mobilizing revenue for national development in line with the economic vision of President John Dramani Mahama. So that is that. Good news for households and good news for everyone, because we're going to be able to save some money due to this new VAT regime that has been introduced. Hopefully, we can get to have a conversation on that and its impact on the Ghanaian people very soon. But that will be all for our news review segments this morning, right here on the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. Up next is business news. Please stay tuned.
Investment analyst urges business owners to adopt hands-on leadership and succession planning. And then Deloitte Ghana warns against excessive policy rate cuts in 2026. These and many more stories will be coming your way shortly. To stay with us, I am Praise Bell Rosamond Labi. Thank you for staying with us, and now the news in detail. Starting off, remittance inflows from the United Kingdom to Ghana has declined to 17.5% of total receipt, down from about 28% recorded during the same period in 2024. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, disclosed this at the London Accra Economic Growth Summit, describing the drop as a signal for renewed and more structured engagement with the Guinean diaspora. Dr. Isiama said that although the UK remains one of Ghana's most important remittance corridors, the central bank is shifting focus from remittances used mainly for consumption towards long-term investment that can drive economic growth. He explained that strategically channeled diaspora funds could support small and medium-sized enterprises, housing development and agricultural modernization while creating sustainable jobs. To reserve the decline, the Bank of Ghana is exploring diaspora bonds, collective investment schemes, and other regulated capital markets instruments to make investing easier for Guineans abroad. The governor also announced that the bank's regulatory sandbox is open to fintech firms to develop innovative investment products, including tokenized solutions. He added that a national remittance strategy and a diaspora roadshow will be rolled out this year to deepen diaspora participation in Ghana's economy. Moving on, the World Bank says Ghana is relying more on domestic debt to finance its budget and manage debt pressures, reflecting a wider trend across low-income countries. According to the World Bank's International Debt Report 2025, public domestic debt among low-income countries has more than doubled over the past decade, rising from about 8% of GDP in 2014 to roughly 17% in 2024. Ghana is highlighted as one of the frontier economies that has successfully deepened its domestic debt market. The report notes that Ghana has been able to issue local currency bonds with maturities beyond 15 years, helping to reduce refinancing risk and limit exposure to exchange rate volatility. However, the World Bank cautions that rising domestic borrowing also creates new vulnerabilities. In 2025, about 41% of new domestic debt across low-income countries were issued at short maturities, increasing refinancing and interest rate risk. While domestic borrowing has helped Ghana reduce foreign currency exposure, the World Bank stresses that careful management of debt maturities and interest costs will be critical to long-term debt sustainability. Moving on, professional services firm Deloitte has warned that excessive easing of the Bank of Ghana's policy rate cut reserve the gains made in controlling inflation, even as it anticipates further rate cuts in 2026. In its West Africa in Focus 2025 report, Deloitte said while additional reductions in the policy rate cut are expected to ease financing constraints and stimulate credit growth, overly aggressive cuts could reignite inflationary pressures. The Bank of Ghana cut its policy rate cut by 10% point in 2025, ending the year at 18%. Deloitte noted that although rates remain relatively high, the stance helped strengthen the cedi and supported a decline in inflation. Other interest rates also fell sharply, with the 364-day Treasury bill rate dropping to about 13% in November 2025 from over 30% a year earlier. Deloitte identified key inflation risks, including higher utility tariffs, persistent high food prices, and a possible decline in gold prices. which could weaken the cedi. It added that strong fiscal discipline and prudent monetary policy would be critical to managing these risks in 2026. Moving on, investment analyst Edmond Edem has urged Guinean business owners to take a more hands-on approach to leadership, warning that absentee leadership could undermine business growth and sustainability. Speaking on the Business Breakfast Show on ZFM, Mr. Edem noted that many Guinean businesses struggle because owners distance themselves from day one operations, especially at critical moments. He stressed that this is not the time for business leaders to take unnecessary trips or prolonged vacations, saying such actions send the wrong signal to employees and stakeholders. According to him, effective leadership is not an armchair activity but requires direct involvement and visibility.
For our space, the Ghanaian space lies, I think most Ghanaian, we have the mindset where we want to always see the leader or the boss around. I think a mistake any business owner can make not available at a crucial point like this in the business. This is not the time for business owners to take in unnecessary trips or vacations. It doesn't set the right tone for the business. This is the time for them to apply a more hands-on approach. And talking about a more hands-on approach, as for most, some business owners think that business leadership is just an armchair activity. No, it actually requires a hands-on approach. There's something we call private equity, where people come into invest in the business, but the investors are actually involved in the business. You see them taking part in the decisions. I think that's an approach most business leaders should really incorporate, and you'll see the results they want to see. If you want to do an armchair leadership, trust me, the business will not see the results. And if you even follow close, you realize that most businesses that were Ghanaian are Ghanaian owned, and that employed this approach where they were just leaving everything for their subordinates. They didn't try. You realize that you hardly find most Ghanaian businesses that are above 50 years if you research. And you see some of this were as a result of these trends. So I think business owners should also have a good succession plan in place. Every time most businesses don't try, but they don't have good succession plans. So if you look at some of these family-owned businesses, you realize that once the leaders or the founders of business are no more or aren't involved anymore, the businesses crumble because there wasn't a proper succession plan or continuity put in place, which also boils down to having proper systems and structures in place for a business. So I think these are some things at the start of the year or Q1, businesses should factor in that. The leader needs to be available. It needs to employ a hands-on approach, and then it will trickle down to the employees of this.
You just said investment analyst Edmond Edem speaking on the Business Breakfast Show on ZFM. And on to our last story for the bulletin, the Bank of Ghana has closed 2025 with its international reserves hitting a record high of $13.8 billion despite making significant external debt payments in the final month of the year. Sources say reserves could have climbed to about $14.2 billion if not for the $709 million Eurobond repayment made in December on behalf of the Ministry of Finance. The early payments followed stronger than expected government revenue performance in the last quarter of 2025. Even after the outflow, the central bank added nearly $5 billion to its reserves during the year, one of the strongest annual build-ups on record. The Bank of Ghana data show reserves stood at $11.4 billion by October 2025, up sharply from $7.4 billion a year earlier. Analysts attribute the gains to the Bank of Ghana's accumulation strategy and the domestic gold purchase program. The stronger reserve position is expected to support cedi stability, especially during the first quarter when import demand typically rises. In 2025, the cedi appreciated by over 40% against the US dollar, ending the year at about 10 Ghana cedis, 45 pesos to the dollar. Ending business news. And this is where we draw the curtains on business news. But before I go, let's take a recap of our headlines. UK remittances to Ghana has dropped as Bank of Ghana pushed diaspora investment. Also, investment analysts has urged business owners to adopt hands-on leadership and succession planning. And in other news, Deloitte has warned against excessive policy rate cuts in 2026. These and many more stories was brought to you from our studios here at number 6 Anyete Avenue, East Legon, Accra. For more news, you can log on to www.zmultimedia.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook and X as ZFMGH, and on TikTok and YouTube as Zed Multimedia. Thank you for listening. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a good morning. My name once again is Praisebell Rosemont Labi.
You You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
In our quest to redefine modern living, Lakeside Estate proudly unveils a new wave of innovation and elegance. Introducing the all-new Starfish, our redesigned 3-bedroom home crafted for today's modern family. Step into a space where functionality meets finesse. The Starfish features spacious layouts, sleek contemporary finishes, and sits within one of Accra's most secure and master-planned communities. Enjoy more living space, a walk-in closet in the master bedroom, a modern fitted kitchen, and generous room sizes, all designed with your family's comfort in mind. Whether you're settling down or making a smart investment, the Starfish offers refined elegance, outstanding value, and long-term peace of mind. With a generous plot size of 60 by 100 feet, there's plenty of room to grow, including ample parking space. Choose the redefined Starfish, where modern living truly begins. Call our sales expert.
32 minutes after 7, and this is the Business Breakfast on Zed. I hope that you were in a spirit while listening to that particular song. But anyway, thank you very much for staying with us right here on the show. The show continues, and we're going to get into our business brief segment right away. I'm going to share something briefly with you ahead of our roundtable discussion. Please stay tuned. Let's get into that right away. Sure you're well aware that today is Constitution Day, and this is a day that was introduced, I think, somewhere in 2009. I'm not too sure, but yes, to actually, it was largely informed by a remarkable constitutional journey under the 1992 Constitution, which ushered in the Fourth Republic on the 7th of January 1993. And so the day actually goes to the very core of our existence as a sovereign democratic state, and it celebrates not merely a document but a constitutional culture, one that values the rule of law, democratic accountability, and peaceful political competition. Most of us don't know exactly why this particular day exists, but that is basically it. We just use that day or we observe that particular day to remind ourselves of how far we've come. And in terms of our democracy, the political stability we've enjoyed in the past. And this is actually a day that is one of the most important public holidays in Ghana, because it actually celebrates the foundation of our nation's democratic life, commemorates political stability, constitutional continuity, and the supremacy of the will of the people expressed through law. And I believe that to celebrate the Constitution is to celebrate Ghana itself, because the Constitution is actually what binds us, and it is not merely a document. And that's why we'll be having conversation this morning along those lines. And that celebration must go beyond symbolism to substance, beyond rest, to reflection. Of course, now the holidays have been moved, the midweek holidays, according to the Public Holidays and Commemorative Days Amendment Bill that was passed just last year. Every holiday that falls on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is moved to Friday. So that is observation. That is how we are observing it this time around. But I was saying that it shouldn't be a day of rest, and it's actually a day that we need to really look at how far we've come and celebrate the gains that we've made over the years. And it's a time to also deepen our constitutional literacy. Let's get to understand exactly what is in the Constitution, strengthen our democratic commitment, and also remind ourselves that the Constitution belongs not to lawyers or politicians, but to the people. And that is the essence of the day. Hopefully we get to talk more about that when we get into our roundtable discussion this morning. But let's this morning I want us to slow down just a little, because sometimes the most dangerous things in a democracy don't come from gangs or tanks. They come from the words, the ordinary words, the ones we type very quickly, the ones we share very instantly, the one we forward without pause. and all of that. So let me take you into a familiar story, not because it is extraordinary, but also because it is painfully ordinary, you know. And this is a case study, just a case study, so not a real story, but this is actually something that can actually happen. And so meet Amma. Amma is a 26-year-old university graduate. She's bright, she's vocal, she's passionate about Ghana. She cares about fuel prices, unemployment, corruption, election, basically the future of our country. And she's a kind of young woman. She's the kind of young woman we say we want in a democracy. Somebody who is informed, she's engaged, and also very outspoken. Now, Amma knows her rights. She knows the 1992 Constitution guarantees her freedom of speech and expression, like many of us do. And she also believes in that right deeply. And so one evening, scrolling through social media, Amma comes across a post. It's alarming. It actually claims ballot boxes have been secretly moved in a constituency just days before an election. So, no official source, no confirmation, just fear wrapped in urgency. Amma feels very angry that why is this happening? She feels afraid, protective of her democracy, and so she shares it. And with a caption many of us have typed before, this country is finished. This country is not going anywhere, they are stealing our votes again, blah, 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 blah. So Amma puts it out there. Within hours, the post actually spreads because she has influence. Screens light up, WhatsApp groups buzz, Twitter explodes, people talk, people shout, and it goes on and on. And so youth gather near a polling station, voices rise, threats are made, the tension enters there, and the kind of tension that actually doesn't need much encouragement to turn violent, And so later that night, the Electoral Commission released a statement. The information was false. The ballot boxes had been moved temporarily because of flooding for safekeeping and not rigging. No rigging, no conspiracy, just logistics, But by then, the damage had already been done. The next day, Amma was invited, or she's invited, for questioning by security agencies. She's shocked. She's confused. She's offended even. Her defense is very simple. And many of us would say the same, that I only exercise my constitutional right to free speech. I'm allowed to say, what I want. And that is where today's conversation really begins. Because yes, the Constitution does protect Amma's right to speak, but it also places something else on our shoulders, which is responsibility. Yes, you have your rights, but your responsibility, there's also the responsibility bit of it. You see, the same Constitution that gives a right also demands restraint. It asks citizens to uphold public order, to respect the rights of others, to protect national peace. And suddenly, Amma starts asking herself questions that she hadn't asked the night before. Did I verify what I shared, or did I just react? Did my post actually protect democracy or put it at risk? Was I exercising a right or neglecting a responsibility? And that is where I want us to pause this morning, because Amma is not just Amma. Amma is not just Amma. Amma is you. Amma is me. Amma is every Ghanaian with a smartphone, data bundle, and an opinion. We live in a time where expression is instant. These days you can just express yourself, instantly. Just say whatever you want and then that is it. But reflection is optional. We live in that time where outrage travels faster than truth, and where I didn't know is often offered as a defense. But here's there's the uncomfortable question. Does ignorance excuse harm? At what point that free speech stop being freedom? And at what point that free speech stop being freedom and start becoming danger? If a post leads to fear, tension, or violence, who is responsible? The person who typed it, the person who shared it, or or everyone who clicked forward without thinking? And our topic today on a roundtable discussion is Constitution and you, rights, responsibilities, and action. Not Constitution in theory, not Constitution in textbook, but Constitution in your everyday life, your daily life, in how you speak, how you post, how you engage, how you disagree, and a host of other things. Because you see, democracy doesn't collapse overnight. It erodes post by post, rumor by rumor, careless action by careless action. And young people especially sit at the center of this particular moment. We are loud, we are digital, and we are influential. But are we also intentional? And that's a question we have to ask ourselves. Is activism only about posting and sharing, or does it also require some discipline, verification, and wisdom? Those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. So what if Amma had paused? What if she had checked? She had fact-checked. She had verified. What if she had used the right civic channels to actually ascertain the issue? Would the story be different? And these are not just legal questions alone. These are moral ones, civic ones, and leadership ones that we must all answer. Because a constitution doesn't defend democracy by itself. Citizens actually do. And every post either builds trust or destroys it. Every word either calms a nation or inflames it. And every action either strengthens democracy or weakens it. So this morning, I'm not here to judge Amma. I'm here to ask you, how do you use your rights? Do you know where your freedom ends and your responsibility begins? And when it matters most, do you choose reaction or reflection? And so in our roundtable discussion shortly, we'll unpack these questions carefully, honestly, and practically. If you've ever said that I have the right to speak, then you want to stay with us this morning right here on the Business Breakfast on Zed, because today's conversation is not about silencing voices, it's about shaping citizens, and we'll be talking about very, very soon. Please don't go anywhere, stick and stay with us. We'll get into all of that very soon when we get into our roundtable discussion. But that will be all for our Business Brief segment this morning. Up next is Transport Today with Solomon Tetenate. Please stay tuned.
This is the pre-boarding announcement for flight 3728.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, thank you very much. Solomon Tetenate is ready to bring us transport today this morning. Solo, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, E. I'm doing very well this morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well too, by God's grace.
We thank God for life.
Absolutely. We are grateful. And it's Constitution Day, so yes.
I heard you mentioning Amma and all that.
Yeah, I was just telling a story of somebody.
You know, it's I don't know, but if you know you're right, yeah, you know what to do, and you are not in fear. Because you know what is actually protecting you, and you are able to do what you are supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So it's very important we know our constitution and things that are privilege to us, so that we can also enjoy some privileges. Because there are certain things that we don't know, so we are not able to enjoy them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's very important we get to know all these things.
Yeah, we need to know all of these things, and also know most importantly where those rights actually end and where you have to take responsibility. And that's actually the focus of my business brief this morning, so that people don't think that, I have the rights to do this, and so because of that I just do things anyhow.
Very true.
So very important. But anyway, tell us what you have for us this morning.
All right. So I'm taking you through the local flight schedules for today, and also we'll be looking at the traffic situation in town, and then some stories actually trending in the aviation sector. So I'm starting with the flight schedules, and Accra to Kumasi Passion Air morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m., and 11:20 a.m. Accra to Kumasi morning schedule 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m., and 11:20 a.m. Afternoon schedules are 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. And then the evening schedule is at 7:20 p.m. It takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Now, Accra to Takrady, the morning schedule is at 6:20 a.m. and then afternoon schedule is at 4:20 p.m. Morning schedule 6:20 a.m. and then afternoon schedule 4:20 p.m. It takes 50 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Sunyane has only one flight available for the day at 9:10 a.m. and it takes 1 hour to get to your destination. Accra to Wa also has only one flight available for the day. It takes 1 hour 1 hour 40 minutes to get to your destination, and the schedule is at 9:40 a.m. Now, Accra to Tamale, Passion Air, Accra to Tamale Passion Air morning schedule 6 a.m. and then afternoon schedules are 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. Morning schedule 6 a.m. and then afternoon schedules 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. It takes 1 hour 20 minutes to get to your destination. So these are the local flight schedules for Passion Air. Now let's look at Africa World Airlines, how their schedules also looks like today. So Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi morning schedules are 6:20 a.m. and 8:40 a.m. 6:20 a.m. and 8:40 a.m. Afternoon schedules are 2:20 p.m. and 4:40 p.m. 2:20 p.m. and 4:40 p.m. and then the evening schedule is at evening schedules are 6:50 p.m. and 7 p.m. So we have 2 flights available in the morning, 2 flights available in the afternoon, and then 2 flights available in the evening. So you should take note of that if you are going to Kumasi from Accra. And it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Now, Accra to Takoradi Africa World Airlines morning schedule is at 6:40 a.m. and then afternoon schedules are 2:10 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. Morning schedule 6:40 a.m. and then afternoon schedules are 2:10 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. It takes 40 minutes as well to get to your destination, and that's Accra to Takoradi. Now let's look at Accra to Tamale for Africa World Airlines, how their schedules looks like today. So Africa World Airlines Accra to Tamale morning schedules are 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and then afternoon schedules are 12:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. 12:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. So these are the local flight schedules for today. Now let's look at the traffic situation in town. And today, as I'm speaking to you now, there's traffic in town, especially at Accra Central. So you should take note of that. And I'll be taking you through some of the streets that you experience traffic around Accra Central. So currently on the Independence Avenue, there's traffic on that stretch as we speak, and they start from where the Zenith Bank is located all the way to Rage roundabout. So you should take note of that. And also on the same Independence Avenue, there's also traffic, massive traffic at where the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel is located on the same Independence Avenue, branching to Accra City Hotel as well. So you should also take note of that. Liberia Road is also very busy at the moment, where the British Council is located. It's also very busy at the moment, joining the Independence Avenue. So you should also take note of that if you are using that route. Starlight 91 Road is also very busy at the moment, especially where the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resource is located. So you should also take note of that if you are using the Starlight 91 Road at Accra. And so that's the traffic update for you around that area. Let's come to Prophet Amos High Street. There's also traffic spotted on that stretch as we speak, so you should take note of that. And the traffic actually starts from where the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is located on the Atamel Street, and that's Prophet Amos High Street. So you should take note of that if you are using that stretch at the moment. 28th February Road is also building up slowly. It's a smooth traffic, so you should take note of that if you are using the 28th February Road, especially where the Forest Plantation Development Fund is located. So that's the traffic update for you at Accra Central. But before I leave that area, there's also traffic, massive traffic at Asafuache Nate Road. At Asafuache Nate Road, there's also massive traffic on that stretch as we speak, where the Accra Post Office is located. So you should take note of that, right from the Accra Post Office heading towards where the DHL office is located. So that's the traffic update for you at Accra Central. Now let's come to Circle. There's traffic. There's massive traffic on the Ring Road, Central Road, so you should also take note of that if you are using that stretch at the moment. And so that's also the traffic situation for you on the Ring Road Central. There's traffic on that stretch at the moment, especially where the Paloma Hotel is located at Ring Road Central. There's traffic, massive traffic on the stretch heading towards Circle overhead. So that's the traffic update for you. And also Accra New Town heading towards Circle on the Insawam Road. There's also traffic on that stretch, especially where the car care service circle or where the Telecel Ghana office is located. There's massive traffic on that stretch. So if you are from Kumasi using the Insawam Road, or if you are from Amasama using the Insawam Road, you are likely to experience traffic at Accra New Town where the Telecel Ghana is located. So you should take note of that. And also let's come to Achimota coming to La Paz. There's traffic spotted around that area, especially where the Mawako Abelempe branch is located, headed towards Achimota. There's traffic at that area, so you should take note of that. And now North Jolu, there's traffic on that stretch. Using the Legon bypass, you are going to experience traffic on that stretch heading towards the Fiesta Royal Hotel. So you should also take note of that if you are using that stretch at the moment. So that's the traffic update for you today. Now let's look at some stories trending in the aviation sector. So Emirates Sky Cargo chart flight path into 2026. So following a milestone year, the airline upgraded its on-road fleet by taking delivery of 40 Euro 6 trucks from MAN Trucks, bringing the latest low emissions and driver-centric technology to the region. So Emirates Sky Cargo wraps the year with a clear roadmap to success in 2026, following significant investment in enhancing its fleet and network, foregoing new strategic partnership, reshaping the digital landscape, and launching all new products over the last 12 months. As the cargo arm of the world's largest international airline, Emirates Sky Cargo is on track to seamlessly connect the globe, keeping goods flowing quickly, reliably, and efficiently. And also, Botswana golden passports sparks renew in Ghana. So Botswana's decision to introduce a citizenship by investment program from 2026 is reigniting calls within Ghana's business community for Accra to consider a similar policy to attract foreign direct investment and global talent. So the proposed Botswana scheme, which formally opens this year, requires applicants to make a government contribution of between $75,000 and $90,000, with total cost rising further after due diligence fees and family application are factored in. So the program allows dual citizenship and is designed to diversify Botswana's economy beyond diamond export, directing capital into sectors including tourism, housing, mining, and renewable energy. So these are the stories trending in the aviation sector this morning. And thank you so much, Ni.
All right, thank you very much, Solomon Tetenate, for bringing us transport today this morning. Of course, the show continues. This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trebi Hammond. We're going to get into other parts of the show shortly, but you can still engage us on our social media platforms. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please engage us on those platforms and we'll read your messages for you. You can also send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019, and we'll read them for you. If you have a birthday wish to anybody, feel free to send us a message and we'll do you the honors this morning. Let's take a quick music break. When we return, we continue the show.
You have been faithful, more than just faithful, from my cradle days till this very hour, and I know you will be with me till the very end. Yes, sir. You have been faithful.
that was Not Good featuring David Dam. Sorry, by Don't You Can featuring David Dam. And that brings us to exactly 3 minutes after 8. I have some good news for you, and so let me just give it to you. So this January, Z101.9 FM presents Finish Your Craft. Now, there's a special initiative celebrating everyone in the interior finishing and creative decor space. If you're a rag weaver, you're a painter, you're a sculptor or a clay artist, or you sell or create artwork, decor pieces, dinnerware, or anything that beautifies a space, then this is actually your moment. Now, what we want to do for you is I want to showcase your brand. For you. So with Finish Your Craft, we're giving you access to all our major platforms, Z101.9 FM, Z Online, and even the new Finder newspaper. Yes, we're giving you all of these platforms at a small fee. And all you need to do is to bring us your PR materials and let our team, your unofficial chief marketing officers, talk about your products, to tell your story, and also amplify your craft to many, many people. And so for more information, you can call us on 0543763460, 0543763460, or 030 8041019, 030-804-1019, or you can visit Z Multimedia Front Desk for more information. Yeah, we're located at number 6 Anyete Avenue, East Legon, Accra, off the American House route, and you can just pass by this place and get to ask all your questions, and then we can give you all the information. So if you're listening to us this morning and you know anybody who is in the decor space, the interior, the creative decor space, the interior finishing space, then you can just share this information with them and get them to reach out to us, and we will help them. So when I say finish your craft, you say that let the world see what your hands can do, and we're making that possible for you right here on all our major platforms. Well, also, if you're a CEO, you're a business owner, a corporate leader, then I've got some good news for you as well. The CEO's Hub, the organizers of the CEO's Breakfast and Networking Meeting, in collaboration with the Big Joe's Place, presents a New Year CEOs and Corporate Leaders Hangout. Yes, you heard me right. The New Year CEOs and Corporate Leaders Hangout. And it's happening on Friday, the 9th of January, 2026 at exactly 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And also at the Big Joe's Gardens, Community 7, Tema, close to the GTP Textiles. And the theme for this particular event is business opportunities and threats for 2026. And there's a New Year gathering designed for CEOs and corporate leaders to network, to unwind, and share practical insights ahead of 2026. And the rate is free. You don't pay a dime to be a part of this program, but all purchases at the garden on the day will be borne by our distinguished guests. And so please take note of that. And the dress code is smart casual, and you can also make inquiries or confirm your participation by calling us or WhatsApping us on 0246 189847, 0246 189847, and then we give you all the information. So it's a New Year CEOs and Corporate Leaders Hangout, and we say reset, recharge, and reconnect. So if you're a business owner, you're a CEO, you're a corporate leader, this is something you don't want to miss. Happening on Friday, the 9th of January. That's just this Friday, 9th of January 2026, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Big Joe's Gardens, Community 7, Tema, close to the GTP Textiles. And also, if you've been hoping and praying to own your own home, or you've been wishing to step into your dream home, then Lakeside Estates has got an exclusive offer for you. And with this offer, you can own your own house in just 2 years. In just 2 years, you can own your own house with no interest repayment. Yes, you heard me right. No interest repayment. And this offer gives you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. And you get to choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of Lakeside Hills clusters. So, of course, your future awaits. Just imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. Just imagine that. So, as your CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year, for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. And all you have to do is to place a call to us this morning as well on 020-477-5042, 020-477-5042. Or you can also call us on 020-477-5040, 020-477-5040, or 050-1418622, 050-1418622. And don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour of our available homes. Lakeside Estates, quality homes for all. So that is what I have for you this morning. But also, today is actually the last day that the official PA Holiday Savings promo at Lakeside Marina Park ends. And so you can actually visit the place. You can go there today and enjoy a massive 25% off the entry fees throughout this particular. I mean, it's been running throughout the festive season. Today is the last day. You can also visit there. Go with your kids, go with the squad, and take the whole family along. The kids, for the playground area, the kids are paying just 45 Ghana cedis, the adults 60 Ghana cedis, and for the water park, per head is 150 cedis. But for a family of 4, you can pay just 450 cedis to be able to have some fun. So slides, splash, games, food, photos, and that beautiful Marina Park vibe, all of that waiting for you right there. And you can locate us inside Adenta Lakeside Estate C1 on Google Maps. You can enter Marina Water Park or Lakeside Marina Park, and you can get the direction to the place. Or you can call WhatsApp 05085989948, 05085989948, or 0204775044, 0204775044, or 0501401. Let me take it again, 05014013881, 05014013881 for more information. So place a quick call and make sure that you take advantage of this particular promo. So we're going to get into our roundtable discussion very, very soon, but keep enjoying this one and we'll be right back. 26 minutes after 8, and that was Don't Sing or Ye Can featuring David Dam. Well, we're going to get into, like I said, a roundtable discussion very soon. And today we're talking about the Constitution Day. We want to have a conversation trying to awaken ourselves along the lines of the fact that, I mean, in as much as you have rights, you also need to put in place you also have some responsibilities, yes, that you need to pay attention to. And so we'll get into that very soon. My guest will be joining me very soon for that conversation. Please engage us on our social media platforms and share the link with your family and friends to also join the conversation. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please do well to drop a comment under any of our posts and we'll read them for you, and also share the link with your family and friends so they can also join this conversation this morning. There's a lot to learn this morning right here on the show, but you can also send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019, and I give you the opportunity. I read your messages for you, and also you can call us on 03039566641, 03039566641, and then also I will give you the opportunity to be a part of the conversation this morning. You can actually share your thoughts with us right here. So we're going to get into all of that shortly, but there's still some more other things that we have to do while we get into that. But let's take another quick music break, and when we return, hopefully we can get into the conversation. My guests will be ready by then for this conversation. So please don't go anywhere. We will get into all of that.
No be me do no be me do
morning. And today we're diving into a topic that actually affects every one of us, and whether we realize it or not. We're talking about our constitution. We're talking about our rights. Now, we often think of the constitution as something for the lawyers or judges, tucked away in some law book somewhere. But the truth is that it's out there. Every post we share, every protest we join, every word we speak has a part to actually strengthen or weaken our nation. And so I've been joined now by lawyer Andrew Apia Dankwa. He is a private legal practitioner, and he's helping us have this conversation this morning. If you've ever wondered where freedom ends and responsibility begins, or how your choices actually affect our country, please stay with us for this conversation. And lawyer is over the phone lines for this important conversation. Lawyer, good morning. Good morning, lawyer. Right, and happy New Year to you.
Happy returns and happy New Year and good morning to your lovely listeners.
All right, thank you very much. I don't know if there's something like Happy Constitution Day that we wish ourselves, but
yeah, Happy Constitution Day.
Okay, all right, and same to you. All right, lawyer, let's get into our conversation this morning. Now, oftentimes when people hear the word constitution, many of us think of courtroom and some legal language. In simple terms, what is the constitution really meant to do for the ordinary citizen?
Oh, okay, so essentially, the constitution is supposed to be a document that emanates from the people itself. As in, if I'm supposed to put on my philosophical hat, then the constitution can be said to represent a social contract. A social contract, one between the citizens themselves, and also between the citizens and the government that the citizens themselves put up. And so the constitution, first of all, emanates from the people. The constitution sets out the power, sets out the powers of government. It sets out the rights of the citizens, and essentially the constitution guarantee rights that nature itself gives us. And so, like I said, if I'm supposed to put on my philosophical hat, then there's a belief from a section of jurists that essentially says that God Himself gives us our right to our life, our right to our liberty, and our right to pursue our own happiness. What the Constitution does is that the Constitution can be seen as it's just like a contract that more or less guarantees these rights that God Himself gives us, and it sets up government, and the purpose of that government is first of all to guarantee us these rights, and then to enforce laws and systems and norms that the Constitution sets up. And the Constitution also reflects the values and the principles of the people. So, as in very simple terms, the Constitution of a state can be seen as that. Essentially, it emanates from the people itself.
All right. So why should the average market woman, average driver, or maybe a student care about it?
Yeah, but like I said, it emanates from the people itself. So the Constitution essentially belongs to the people of Ghana, and it's not just something that should be seen as belonging to the legal professionals. So treating it as a technical document for lawyers will alienate citizens from power and weaken democracy. My personal view is that for this considered democracy to work, it's essential that we deliberately create a culture that is participatory in nature. Now, what that means is that everybody in Ghana, every citizen, market woman, the person in the street ought to understand the essence of the Constitution, right, that the Constitution guarantees, and the responsibilities that the Constitution gives all of us. Like I said, it represents our values and our principles, and it will be very dangerous if such a document whose purpose is to more or less guarantee us our rights that God gives us, the people for whose sake this Constitution was put up do not even understand what's called the right that the Constitution is supposed to guarantee. So, for me, I think is one of the most essential duties of government, of our leaders, to ensure that they deliberately create the right political culture that would encourage people to participate in this democracy. Because beyond everything else, what people participating in this democracy and understanding of our constitution does is that it first of all makes us tolerate diverse views. It causes us to hold political leadership accountable. In my opinion, these two things are very essential if we are supposed to sustain the ends of democracy, which is to guarantee for us the rule of law. And so it is very, very critical for the life of this constitutional democracy that the citizens themselves are interested in what the Constitution is all about, the rights that the Constitution grants us, the responsibilities that the Constitution demands from us. And once we are able to achieve that, and we call it achieve that if we find a way of getting the citizens to participate in this democracy. And that's why some of us have been calling for, beyond all else, a deliberate attempt to decentralized governance. Because, when you define what democracy is not just power of the people, but it's also power by the people and power for the people. And really there's one thing that a lot of African democracies have to do is to create a situation where the power or the government will be by the people and for the people. All we do is just to go and start votes largely. But when it comes to how political decisions are made and how involved the people are in the use of political decisions, my personal view is that it's very minimal and it does not help for the sustenance of this constitutional democracy. But it is because people don't even understand the Constitution. People don't read the Constitution. People are not part of the Constitution in a way. There's this view that the Constitution is a document meant for just people in the legal profession. And for us to get the people participating in democracy, then we have to find a way to break down the Constitution to ensure that everybody understands the Constitution and understands the rights that the Constitution guarantees for all of us.
Right, Doc. But is it? You point out the fact that we need to actually make it attractive for people to participate in the democracy that we enjoy, and part of that would be to make the Constitution available. Do you think that we've done that? If we have, or if we haven't, whose responsibility is it? Is the government's responsibility to actually make the Constitution available? Whose responsibility is it really? I don't know if you get the question.
Well, I understand the question. In fact, what I said was about making it attractive for people to participate. I think that it is a fundamental duty of government to ensure that we deliberately create that political culture where people participate in this democracy. So it's all about making it. Well, maybe part of the strategy will be to make it attractive, but one of the fundamental duties of government is to protect and defend the Constitution. And if that is a fundamental duty of government, then if there's something that history has taught us, the easiest way of protecting the Constitution is to deliberately create a culture, a political culture, a way of life where the citizens participate in governance. Now, what that would then do is that it will make people to tolerate diverse views. Because if there's one right that nature itself gives us is the right to think. And the natural consequence of an exercise of your right to think is in your right to then speak, to talk your opinion freely. You understand? Now, government must deliberately create that pattern where people tolerate diverse views. And two, when government succeeds in creating that political culture, which is participatory, then we'll see that people will hold political leadership accountable. Right. That is true accountability, because people are participating in the democracy. They know what is happening. They understand what is happening. They understand their rights. So the most basic form of it is through education, so that at the start of education, these rights should be taught to us, to our children. You get a picture.
Yeah.
We shouldn't wait until when they are class 1, nursery, or creche, we are teaching them about our values, about our norms, about our constitution, about our rights, the guarantee of those rights, about our political powers. You teach them. So we build those values in them right from the word go. And then we'll have, and then what's it called? Our constitution created civic education, a national of civic education. They ought to work, because one of the critical functions, first of all, of government, and of all of us as Ghanaians is our right to is our obligation or responsibility to defend and protect this constitution. And I'm saying the easiest way of doing that is in deliberately creating the right political culture that will, one, tolerate diverse views and two, hold political leadership accountable. That's the only way in which we can guarantee for ourselves the rule of law.
Right. Okay. Still on the fact that still on the fact about we making the constitution available to people. I want to know, from where you sit, do you think that the average Ghanaian has a grasp of exactly what is in the constitution? If not, what do you think must be done to make that possible?
Well, so from what I said, I don't think I can't say that we really understand the purport, the object, and the details of our constitution. I don't think so. Another thing is that the government, through our constitution, created what was civic education, the National Executive Committee of Civic Education, NCC. They must be up and doing, and we must deliberately fund them to do their work. And beyond that, I think there's just way. When you talk about education or school and all this, school or education, in whichever way you want to have, whether formal, whether informal, it's just a means by which we transfer knowledge from one generation to another. It's just that's education. So then, education, whether formal or informal, sometimes you can use propaganda. You remember when in Ghana we think propaganda is just negative. When I was growing up, there are so many movies where you see Americans and Vietnam go to war. And in most of these cases, you see that one or two Americans fight against thousands of Vietnamese, and they almost always won. They use movie as a means of propagating a certain belief that the American was superior to anybody. Also, when I was growing up, when J.J. Rollins formulated a lot of radical policies, one in terms of the rent issue, and two in terms of what's it called, interstate succession law. A lot of those they used to do Obra on Sunday Obra or something like that. And those as in theater was used as a means of educating the people as to the reforms that have been made in succession and also in rental issues, and in our lease issues.
Right.
So we can use all manner of education, not just the formal one, but through movies to educate and teach people about the rights that the Constitution grants them and why it's necessary that they participate in democracy. Point. And also, government must also deliberately, then by law, also do proper decentralization. Proper decentralization also includes proper fiscal decentralization. Because once power is there's a devolution of power right to the base, it's easier for you to educate the people about the constitution, because then political decision making will be done right at the grassroots. And to do that, people would have to familiarize themselves with the constitution, the power that they have, the rights that they have, the responsibilities that the constitution demands from them. But it must be deliberate. It must use all forms of education, whether in the classroom, whether through theater, whether through articles, whether through concerts, whatever means, just to get people to understand the purpose of the Constitution, the objective of the Constitution, and the details of the Constitution, to find a way of getting them to participate in this constitutional democracy. Because that's the only way we can sustain our constitutional democracy.
I see. So let's also touch on some other things this morning. So how do constitutional rights actually show up in everyday lives? Because the focus of our conversation is to make it, make our listeners or our audience get to understand exactly how this shows up in their lives and then what they can actually do about it. So let's continue from there. How do constitutional rights actually show up in our everyday lives, even when we are not consciously thinking about the law?
So under the 1992 Constitution, our constitutional rights are lived daily. So for instance, through the fact that we are able to talk freely. I'm a political commentator. I can go on TV or radio, and then I'm free to criticize the government. So it shows up through our freedom of speech. It shows up through our freedom of movement. You can go anywhere in Ghana. There's no restriction on you. You it shows up through our freedom of association. You are free to join any association of your desire. It is seen through our freedom of religion. I mean, you can practice any religion you want in Ghana. And then it shows up also in our participation in governance. These rights show up when citizens criticize government policies. These rights show up when citizens worship freely. These rights show up when citizens choose where to live or work. They show up in terms of our ability to form associations, access courts, or vote in elections.
Right.
So these rights that I'm talking about, they are not rights that are abstract ideas, but they are practical freedoms that shape how Ghanaians interact with the state and with one another. And that's why I was saying that if I want to put on my philosophical cap, essentially a constitution will represent a social contract between the citizens, one, and between the citizens collectively and the government.
I see you mentioned something, and I want you to throw some more lights on that. You said any people can go wherever they want, but aren't there some certain restrictions when you are entering certain spaces in this country?
Oh, so that's security. So most, because at the end, you know that all these rights
have limits.
Have limits, and one of the fundamental limits is in terms of what's it called, security. Also, you can go anywhere, but I have a right to my property. So I have a right to grant you access to my property or not. But beyond these very minimal limitations, essentially, we have freedom of movement. You can go anywhere you want in Ghana, also. Apart from where, unless, let's say, you can't come to my house unless I invite you.
Yeah.
Because we also all have a right to own our properties and restrict who will enter into our property or not.
Okay, so it means that, I mean, even though you have your rights, there are still some limits there. And I think that is actually one of the major things that we want to put across today. So the fact that you have a right... Go ahead.
So you don't have a right to infringe on somebody's enjoyment of their rights.
Absolutely.
So we have rights. You understand? And there's a limitation on anybody from limiting anybody else from enjoying their rights.
Right.
Yeah. So the fact that you can go anywhere you want doesn't mean that in how you enjoy that right, you should infringe on somebody's rights. And one of the rights that quickly comes to my mind, one is somebody's right to enjoy their property. You understand? And we also do not have the right to undermine the security of the state. And that's why you will realize that there are certain areas in Ghana designated as security zones.
Yeah.
And in those places, there are restrictions in what you can do or not do there.
Yeah.
But broadly, we have our right to move. We have a right to go anywhere in Ghana.
All right. So which of the constitutional rights do people in Ghana enjoy the most today, but we often take for granted, in your opinion?
There is the freedom of expression, freedom of movement, freedom of association, freedom to vote. I mean, I'll be deceiving people if I say we do not that these rights are we are being hindered from expressing those rights. I actually think that especially when it comes to freedom of expression in Ghana here, you see how we are able to criticize government. But last year, I recall in 2024, I called for the impeachment of the president. It was like, hey, untrue. But I was able to call for the impeachment of the president because of the sense which we respect our constitutional rights, even people in government. And so we have that abundantly, and I think we are coming to a stage where we seem to be taking it for granted. But you can't go anywhere and just express yourself like we do in Ghana, at the detriment of people of painting the government black. But we are able to express ourselves. Another is freedom of movement, freedom of association, and our right to vote. These are rights that sometimes we tend to take for granted. But I think that if we have a thought through these rights, and how these rights can help us in fulfilling the purpose of our constitution, then at least we can make giant strides there.
Right. But why do you think these rights are most abused or misunderstood?
I don't think they are misunderstood, but So when it comes to freedom of expression, I mean, those of us, I mean, when you have the right, so like right now we have so many what's called media houses, and that's one of the most fundamental arenas in which we can exhibit this freedom of expression. We should use it to enhance the purpose of our constitution rather than destroying. Because like I'm saying, it shouldn't be taken for granted. But for other reasons, when we get the chance to go on some people, a few people, tend to use this hallowed right to destroy rather than to build. As well as we need to create a right for political culture that will hold political leadership accountable. We should do that in a patriotic manner and responsibly. We shouldn't use it as a means of advancing our parochial agenda. Because if there's anything, there's records of countries where these rights have been used to ferment war and destruction. I think that we should be guided by a sense of patriotism and rather use these rights that have been abundantly given us to push for an enhancement of our constitutional democratic credentials, especially in pushing the agenda of creating a political culture that is more participatory than parochial.
But many people actually, I mean, and what you just said talked about the rights that we have and also the responsibilities that come with them. Many citizens actually speak confidently about their rights, and I have the rights to do this, I have the rights to do this, but they hesitate when responsibilities are mentioned. Why do you think that imbalance is so common?
So, like I said, it is one. I think we both agree that first of all, people don't even understand the terms of our constitution and the obligations that the constitution also places on them. I think it's one of the most fundamental failures of lack of civic education that has failed in making people even understand the terms of our constitution. Because I mentioned that one of the most fundamental duties the constitution places on all of us as Ghanaians is to protect the constitution. And the object of the constitution, the purpose of the constitution. It's the most fundamental obligation that's placed on everybody, every Ghanaian. I think we ought to hammer that obligation so that when political leadership is being used in a manner that is adverse to the agenda the constitution sets for us, then it becomes the responsibility of all Ghanaians to protect the purpose of our constitution. I think that a typical case in point is in how Galamsey has been handled. You get a picture. Because you have a situation where, for instance, in our constitution, the people of Ghana essentially say that any property, any mineral found in the soil in this natural state belongs to all of us as Ghanaians. But to better protect the utilization of those minerals, one in a manner that will not only enhance our economic gains, but will also protect our ecology. They're going to place or create a trust in the president. So the president is only the president who can give or allow people to utilize the minerals for a set time, but to the ultimate benefit of the people of Ghana. And then we have on record a president who says that I allow Galamsey to ferment and destroy the property of Ghana. And we fail as a people in defending our constitution by not calling for the head of that president. The ultimate accountability.
Right.
So we ought to deliberately educate our citizens as to the obligation that the constitution places on them. Beyond that obligation to defend and protect our constitution, there's also an obligation on us to respect the law. We ought to respect the law. But that's the only way in which we can create that society where our individual ambitions and rights or ambitions in life can best be fulfilled. There's an obligation on us to protect public property. You understand? Now, were you not sad when our parliamentarians, people who we tax, first of all, to serve as a check on the executive? Because, I said that the purpose of the Constitution essentially is to guarantee for us right that nature itself gives us a right to life, and a right to our property, a right to personal happiness. Now, to achieve that, the people of Ghana thought that the best way of doing that is to create a democracy that is constitutional. Because what we mean is that to limit the powers of government so that nobody has too much power to infringe on these right that details give us. And that's why we placed governmental powers, we divided them. We gave some to the executive, and we call that executive powers to enforce the law. We gave powers to create laws and to take the executive into parliament and the power to adjudicate on the law into the judiciary. And then the people who are supposed to be the custodian of this constitutional democracy, in just a simple matter of approving people the president has appointed to aid the president in dispensing with his duty as executive, destroy the party of Ghana. You all recall during the election time when some parliamentarians destroyed the party of Ghana, and we didn't ask for the ultimate accountability. They should have been sacked. Because there's a responsibility, there's an obligation on all of us as Ghanaians to protect public property that belongs to all of us. There's also an obligation on all of us to promote national unity. And that's why a funny issue like tribalism, you understand, must be abhorred. There must be an abhorrence to the core when issues of tribalism comes to the fore. But sadly, you have a case where people who we give our political powers to are the ones that even cement tribal sentiments in the country. When they are campaigning for votes, when you have a case when a presidential candidate premises his claim to leadership on where he's from. And the case in point here is the argument based on the Dankwa Dombo Buzia argument. That's His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia advanced when he made a claim to be chosen as the presidential candidate of the NPP. That argument was in all essence very clever.
Right. Anyway, so let's
let me end on this.
Okay, sure.
The Constitution in the chapter 6, what we call the directive of state policy, set an agenda for us. And one of the fundamental agendas there was to promote national unity. And that meant that we have to eschew tribalism of all forms. We have to eschew religious policies of all forms. And rather promote a country where we will all be seen more as Ghanaians than our individual ethnic groups.
Okay, please hold on for me. Let me just announce the phone lines in case somebody wants to join the conversation this morning. So if you just tune in, this is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nature B. Hammond. And this morning we're having a conversation in honor of the Constitution Day. And we're talking about our Constitution, our rights, our responsibilities, and our actions. Basically, looking at where the Constitution, where our rights end and our responsibilities actually take over. And my guest is a lawyer, and he's helping us make sense of all of that. His name is Lawyer Dankwa, and he's Apia Dankwa. Sorry, and he's helping us have this. Yes. He's helping us have this conversation this morning. You can join a conversation on our social media platforms. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please drop a comment on any of our posts and we'll read them for you. You can also send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019, and we will read your messages for you as well. So, Lawyer, let's continue the conversation. And I want us to turn our attention to free speech specifically. Now, freedom of expression is one of the most cited constitutional rights. Where does the law draw a line or the line between free speech and harmful conduct?
So, I keep on referring to the object of the Constitution. Now, because the object of the Constitution is to protect our life, our liberties, and our right to share our own opinion. The utilization of the right the Constitution grants us must be done within this context. So you cannot use your right in a manner that will infringe on somebody's right to life. I don't say the right to life here must be expanded. The right to life does not mean just breathing. But the right to life includes right to quality life. You understand? Right to have a good reputation. Right to protect your character. So that if anybody in how they use their free speech, you understand, infringes on the object of the Constitution, and that object being the protection of your life. And I say that right to your life, your right to property, and it must be looked at in a very expansive manner.
Okay.
And that's why the law, in its wisdom, grants us civil rights to pursue cases against people in defamation when they act in a manner that damages or destroys our reputation by use of free speech. Also, when you use free speech to prejudice or to prejudice or to undermine the security of the state, then you'll be infringing the law. And that's why you see that when you go and give false information that's against fear and panic, you can be held. So our right to express ourselves must be seen. A lot of that right must be used or be seen within the confines of the principles of the Constitution, the object of the Constitution. And once you use this right in a manner that undermines or takes anything away from our ability to fulfill the object of the Constitution, then both in private law or in public law, you can be held accountable. And the laws in Canada, and I'm giving examples. The fact that we have libel or defamation as what's it called, an avenue to protect your personal reputation, and also the public is the one who knows. So that there are certain speeches which are criminalized, and I'll give you the example is when you give a false speech or a false statement that can bring fear and panic.
Right.
It will be in breach of having abused your right to freely express yourself.
Right. We're still doing some education here. So in situations where speech actually leads to fear, panic, or maybe violence, how does the law assess responsibility?
So that again, so it's up to what government or the state attorney general to go and prove, because also you should recollect that our constitution says that you are presumed to be innocent. Yeah, so they do so. They must show, first of all, that the speech is false, and they must prove beyond all example that indeed it caused fear and panic. And then for the judges to but the point is that immediately you have a law that prohibits you making a speech which is false and which can potentially cause fear and panic. And they are putting a limitation, a lawful limitation on how you can express yourself. So it means that even though you have the freedom to express yourself, you do not have the right, the freedom to put out, to express yourself, or to say something which is false and which can potentially lead to fear and panic. You get a picture. Yeah. So that in itself is a limitation on how we express ourselves.
But some people say that I didn't know it was false information. Should ignorance excuse citizens from responsibility? Why or why not?
Should
ignorance, the fact that they didn't know, so because people say, I didn't know it was false information, but I shared it already. So
I think one of the basic is, I think it's right, and I don't even have to talk too much. It's right that ignorance of the law or ignorance of has never been an excuse. Because you have an obligation when you're saying something to ensure that what you're saying is the truth. There's an obligation on you. The law imposes that obligation on you on you. So before you say something, you must believe in the truth of that.
In this particular case, it's not the ignorance of the law, but the ignorance of the fact that the information I'm sharing is false.
No, that's what I said. There's an obligation on you. So can you say something that you do not believe in the truth of it? And don't you think that there's an obligation on you before you make a statement to check and make sure that what you're saying is the truth? So it cannot be a defense that I didn't know that what I was saying was false. But there's an obligation on you to ensure that whatever information you put out there is the truth.
Well, back to the...
It's part of the responsibilities the law imposes on us.
Okay. Right. But back to the issue about the speech actually leading to fear matter or only the consequences?
So, is that what you're saying?
Yes. I mean, your intention was clear, but I mean, your intention was actually right. Just that...
It's that if you make a speech which is false,
yeah.
If you make a speech which is false, free speech, nobody put a gun to your head. You made a free speech. And that free speech was
All right. Anyway, so maybe there's somebody listening to us who is who wants to know how they can express some strong opinions.
Yes, so there are so many. I think in our generation, it's even easier. You have social media, there's so many avenues you can write an article. Just ensure that what you're writing is the truth. You understand? What you're writing does not in any way undermine the purpose of our constitution. You understand? But indeed, freedom of thought and freedom of speech is something that is even encouraged. I'm here advocating for a democracy which is participatory.
Yeah.
You understand? You can't achieve a democracy that is participatory if people feel that they can't express themselves. But I'm saying that in how you express yourself, the focus should be to build and not to destroy. And so there's an obligation on you that even though in expressing yourself, it must not to defeat the purpose of our constitution.
Right. Right. While we're talking about this, a very important aspect of the constitution has got to do with accountability and also the social responsibility. And I know the Constitution actually speaks about being accountable, not just to the states, but also to one another. What does that accountability to fellow citizens look like in real life?
Yeah, so in fact, when you read the Constitution, one of the underlying principles that underpin the Constitution is the probity and accountability. And so in as in both that obligation, in my opinion, lies on both holders of political power and as a citizens. You understand? I think we owe it to each other to be patriotic, to be honest, in how we discharge in our obligations as citizens. When we talk about obligations as citizens, we said that we have an obligation to defend the constitution. We have a duty to promote national unity. Now, defending the constitution, that you are defending the purpose of the constitution. So that if any citizen's right is being infringed upon, then I think it is all of our duty to defend the rights of that citizen. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. And a failure to call ourselves out when we fail to defend our constitution. So, example, case in point, you recall that organized labor threatened a strike action against the president when Galamsey was perpetrated. And in my humble opinion, I think they reneged on their call at some point in time. It is our position as citizens to hold them accountable, to call them accountable. And that's why I'm calling for proper decentralization.
Right.
Yeah, you understand? So that even at the local level, because rural governance, in my opinion, is happening at the local level. We can hold each other accountable in terms of how we, to the extent to which we participate in this democracy. You understand?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be passive, and we can call ourselves out. We can call each other out. We can hold ourselves accountable. If there's an ill that is being done to our country, we can call ourselves out for something that I do and allowing the wrong to be done. But ultimately, because we give a chance of our powers to political leaders, then it is easier to hold those leaders accountable.
Right.
And both accountable isn't just about keeping them out. But even the extent to which we aid our law enforcement agencies in enforcing the law. So we can hold there's an obligation allowed to hold each other out. And I think it is in that light that that Parliament passed the Whistleblowers Act and all those laws, which more or less puts a certain obligation on us to call, for instance, crime out when it's doing that. So when you see somebody perpetrating crime, you call that citizen accountable when you go and report to the authority.
Okay.
I don't know if you are.
Yeah, I get it. But what?
So we should hold each other accountable in how we respect and defend our constitution, and also in how we aid in the achieving of the purpose and also the agenda that constitution has out for us, especially as is seen in Article 6, Chapter 6 of our Constitution, the guiding principle of state policy.
Right. So what role do community leaders, religious bodies, and even the media play here?
Playing what?
Playing in all of this, in holding each other accountable, or protecting the constitutional values in the society.
So we should see this in the light of our collective duty and obligation to create the right of the culture. Because I'm saying that to sustain this constitutional democracy, then there's an obligation on us to create the right political culture.
Right.
Now that obligation must be led by government. But it's an obligation that falls on all of us: religious leaders, traditional authority, civil service organizations, on everything, on the media, on all of us. Because in creating culture, culture essentially is how a group of people behave or act. Government leads, but it's all of our obligations. So you want a political culture that tolerates diverse views. Our community leaders, in how we organize our communities, in how we lead, must show that, and in fact, we must even promote the tolerance for respecting diverse opinions. We are talking about the second leg of that right political culture demands that we hold political leadership accountable. So the real leader, the community leader, the teachers, our classrooms, in how we act and behave, we must be seen to be holding each other accountable. Because once we are able to create that culture, then it's easy for us to then hold people we've given authority to accountable in how they dispense that culture. So it's something that must become a part and parcel of us. But it will only become a part of us if we deliberately make this a culture, how we live our life. At every level of society, in your home, you must hold your children accountable. Your children must be able to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
But then once once we're able to get that culture right, then it's easy for us to translate that to the very top.
All right. So let's look at who bears more responsibility, whether it's the state or the citizens. I want to know who actually bears the greater responsibility for protecting the Constitution. Is it the state or the citizens?
It is all of our responsibility, not just it's not just the political. That's why the Constitution is not that. It was one of the first early articles that it's all of our responsibility to defend the Constitution of Ghana, both the politicians, but most importantly, because this is common sense. We are saying the Constitution emanates from the people, not so. That sovereign power belongs to the people. If sovereign power belongs to the people, then the obligation is on the people to protect that sovereign power. You understand? Now, what does that mean? Now, I'm saying that to protect the Constitution is a call to protect the objectives of the Constitution. You understand? Yeah. So that in any decision we make, we must have that at the back of our mind. Now, in every cycle, you see the way we design our Constitution, how political authority is exercised, we've made it into a cycle, a 4-year cycle. Now, that 4-year cycle always starts with a decision by the citizen. But the citizen also make a decision, and the first decision in choosing a political leaders. And so, when you read the chapter 6, the chapter 6 says that in every decision that we make, every policy decision we make, we must be guided by the agenda set up in chapter 6. The political agenda, economic agenda, the social agenda, the cultural agenda, the educational agenda. You get the picture. Yeah. And we must understand that when it comes to sustaining and protecting this Constitution, in fact, I dare say that, in my opinion, there's a greater obligation on the people, even more than the leaders. Because the first decision in the cycle is in choosing the leaders.
Yeah.
And that decision is not by the leaders themselves. That decision is by the people.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah,
so that if we do not take that decision lightly, and I think that over the years we take that decision lightly, because if you analyze the 9 times we've made that decision, the government seems to suggest that unless and until you belong to either the NDP or NDC, then the opinion you're not fit to lead, and that is a danger. That is a grave danger. We must be open-minded. You understand? And when we are taking that decision, we must take that decision with the ultimate interest of the country at heart. You must not take as if we are playing football, as if it's has a agenda. You'll get a picture.
I get it.
So was that decision then chooses people who would then lead an agenda that already ought to protect the constitution. But the first decision is that so for me, it's an equal shared responsibility. But
Right.
if you push me to the wall, I think it's a responsibility that is even bigger on the people than on the political leadership. And that's why the call for us to participate in a democratic agenda is non-negotiable.
But tell me, what happens when citizens actually outsource all their responsibility to the state? What happens?
What do you mean by ourselves?
So I mean, instead of actually taking responsibility, they hold back and then they hand over all the responsibility to the state.
So when you do that, then you are likely to have a aristocracy. You are likely to have a situation where the people who are not really fit to lead will lead. And in that case, the very purpose and objective of the constitution will be undermined.
I see. Right. I know you have to go very soon, but can a strong constitution actually survive some weak civic culture?
The biggest culture that every constitution in the world has is where we create a culture that's parochial. What the reason why people do what they do is not in the interest of the state, but in their individual interest. Now that culture weakens all the institutions of state. That culture leads to the creation of strong men as against strong institutions. That culture leads to a situation where we no longer have a democracy, where the power does not belong to the but where the power will then belong to a few. And then we go back to the state of nature, which necessitated that thinking that we ought to create the social contract, a contract between the citizens and a contract between the citizens and their country. And that's why, for me, the call to deliberately create a political culture that is participatory, the call to have a proper decentralized system of government, a call to have a radical education of the citizens in terms of, one, their obligation to the state, two, in terms of the rights that the Constitution itself guarantees for them, is a call that should not be negotiable. Once we're able to do that, once we're able to create that political culture that is participatory, once we're able to create that political culture that will tolerate diverse views, once we're able to create that political culture that will hold political leadership accountable, then we put ourselves in the best state of guarantee for us the rule of law. And once we have a system where the rule of law is guaranteed, then we have the best opportunity, the best chance of fulfilling the object of the Constitution. And for me, that should be the call on this constitutional day, 7th January 2020. Once we do that, then we place Ghana in the position where we can reclaim our place as the black power.
Right. Okay. Today is a Constitutional Day, and I want us to just touch on a few of these things before we go. I know it's one thing to know the Constitution, and it's actually another thing to live it. I think we lost him there. We lost lawyer Andrew Apiadankwa there. We'll try and reconnect him, and then we can continue the conversation. Please hold on. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll try and reconnect him, and then we can talk some more about whatever we have to do. Please hold. Please enjoy this one. We'll be right back.
Problem there, better call Jesus. I'm only big man.
weren't able to get our guest to continue the conversation. The lawyer Andrew Zapiadankwa, a private legal practitioner, he was actually giving us a breakdown on exactly what the Constitution is all about and why we need to pay attention to some of the things in there. But unfortunately, we lost him and we couldn't get him back on the phone lines for the conversation. So that's how we wrap up today. We're back again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. We are back again with some interesting conversations right here on the show. And I hope that you have a good day and you join us tomorrow for all of those ones. But thank you very much for staying with us right from 6:15 till now. My name is Nitrebi Hammond. Please do take care of yourself and I'll see you tomorrow. When you think Ghana, please think Zed. Up next is The Brighter Side with Jeremy Okori Amwako. Bye-bye.